Larry Lieber and Stan Lee. And director for this is Mr. Taika Waititi, best known for
First thing they got right.
He Who, like, among the... what's the name of the
What
show?
They Do in the
With the
Dark.
vampire
What We
show?
Do in the Shadows.
The What We Do in the Shadows, yeah. I'm a
One.
little ashamed I forgot that name. Yeah, but I
Search for the Wilder People.
Search for the Wilder People.
Eagle versus Shark.
Oh, yes.
Boy.
Eagle versus Shark, but what was his contribution in Flight of the Conchords? He was only like a slight contributor, or was he actually a writer?
I think he's a writer on Flight
He's
of
a
the
writer.
Oh, he's a writer.
So
right.
he and Jermaine Clement, Jermaine Clement's
Yes,
on
yes,
Legion
yes,
right
yes,
now,
yes.
Yep.
do a lot of stuff together, and they did all of those films you mentioned together.
Jermaine Clement is actually like doing tons of work.
Yeah,
He was unrecognizable in Legion, honestly.
Hey man, he did a Rick and
He
Morty
did it.
reference. That's all I care
Yeah,
about
that was a good one.
Like,
Let's look at what Thor is. Out of here, like, only me and Mark have seen Thor.
Okay, so I did not see Thor. I started watching bootleg version specifically so I could talk about it on this show. But because Thor is so good, I had to stop the bootleg.
Yeah.
So
Because I'm speaking of, like, that intro.
yeah,
That intro was in literally the first moment before the title even hit the screen. I was like, "This is Thor." I could literally like this reel could cut. They could send us home, and I'd be satisfied because that was really like the Thor that I've wanted to see for so long. Like when you look at what what Walter Simonson did with Thor,
yes.
taking him into space. He said, this guy has been cool on Earth and all, but let's explore the cosmic connections that he has. And from the start, this is what this movie does. You see Thor facing Surtur. You see Thor like fighting demons, being chased by a dragon, like taking off it like Surtur's head and like flying with his skull on his back. It is insane. It is like the pulp action, like berserker type Thor that you want to see for so long. And that's like, I'm going to stop geeking out for now.
well, I think if people are listening, obviously they know spoilers are coming.
Spoilers are coming.
If you haven't
Spoilers.
seen it yet, don't do like I did and watch
Yeah.
any kind of like jagged
Right.
bootleg.
I try not to be as
Visually,
spoilery.
This film is so good, like really good. It feels epic in a way, like it just like that kind of size that you need. I don't know if they changed the aspect ratio when they were filming it, but certainly the colors and also kind of the scale of it feels
So
bigger.
so what do you think? And I'll ask Mark and Josue this specifically because the bootleg I really might not work for this one.
Yeah, it won't.
Like, well, why do you think? Well, Khalil might be really good at this. That particular stylized choice, it's been something that was highlighted from Guardians.
Guardians,
That
right.
people believe that the Guardian style of
Works, yeah.
how space and
Yeah,
cosmic Marvel
yeah.
is set up to be is something that they wanted to maintain. Like, why that choice in particular though? Why did they go in that direction of painting space?
Well, I think like, oh, you mean for space, all the space movies?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think definitely they're pulling from a lot of the 70s comics, 80s comics,
Yes,
that
they
kind
are.
of.
Same
And
Walter Simonson especially.
Walter Simonson especially, and
And older
And Jack-
Guardians.
Yeah, well, older like Jack Kirby, like designs of like Asgard were very like high in color and very rich. Like he very much like capitalized on the aspect of Asgard looking like a rainbow place.
and you also get like a lot of like the weird architecture that can only be achieved by someone's imagination, or in this
Correct.
case by CGI, right?
Right.
Like so, to give that kind of thing of otherworldliness of something that cannot happen on Earth, it really works well visually if it's on that scale, like this
Correct.
huge kind of fantastic colors and just like cinematic kind of landscapes, things that just go on and on and on. And so it worked really well for Guardians, and it definitely worked really well for this film.
It worked amazingly here, and I would say like the CG, Marvel's, I believe their company here is still like Industrial Light and Magic. But their CG is so amazing. Like there were literally moments here that I think like with Civil War, there were moments in Civil War that you could not tell like when was CG or when it was actually actual characters. And then later you found out like half of the people weren't even in the airport. Most of that was just like CG. And here like it's kind of like that. Like the CG on characters like Hulk, like they have like all CG creatures here.
Well, so Kate Blanchett, we're jumping ahead, but
Right.
who plays Hela,
Mm-hmm.
her entire outfit is CGI for
Right.
the entire movie. She's not wearing a costume most of the time.
And that's
A lot
something
of
I
it,
could
she's
not
wearing
tell.
a motion
Capture.
capture suit,
Right. Oh, okay.
and then they're putting the costume onto
That's
her.
Right.
And the thing is, it's so seamless that I know that there are cosplayers out there making costumes right now as Hela.
Right.
And
They can't
that
get it.
she's a lot of the time she's not wearing a costume. There are Hela costumes, but a
That's-
lot of the
that's
time
nice.
when we see her, she's just
Yeah.
wearing a motion.
Wow.
Like,
You-
that is
yeah.
unbelievable.
Insane.
But even like the structures, like the architecture of like the Grandmaster's arena when you go in there, like there's just moments where you see like the light shine on it and the light bounces off it. It looks like it's a real place.
Yeah.
So the visuals have been upped completely. They got this right. What
They
else,
got it right.
What else did they get right about this?
Go ahead, Mark.
All right, so visuals cool, definitely worth watching the big screen. But I think they finally got the character of Thor right, which is kind of weird to say for me because when I heard they were taking this comedy approach, I was like, really? But it worked. It for like this is the third Thor movie,
Yes.
and it's the first one where, for a lot of it, the comedy didn't feel forced.
Yes. Because the
It
comedy
came-
felt forced for the first two films.
Exactly. You know, they were trying to squeeze in to get these laughs. That didn't happen for this film, for the vast majority of it. But Thor, as a character, he finally felt like Thor should.
Yeah, it felt like really much like the moments where like he wasn't on screen. You just wanted him to come back, because the movie did work a lot on a lot of characters. It wasn't just Thor, but it worked a lot on Loki. It worked a lot on Hulk too. Even like characters like Valkyrie, which I was a little concerned about how much exposure she was going to get, how much character emphasis she was going to get. But her arc there was very like she wasn't cut down. Even like I forgot Idris Elba as Heimdall. He got his own arc here. Like he got his time to shine. He was like Asgard's defender when Thor wasn't there.
Yeah, he was like the gorilla.
Yeah, he was the lead
you know,
gorilla guy,
shadow.
like saving everyone.
I think one of the things that I wonder what happened. I wonder if this happened is that Chris Hemsworth went off and did Ghostbusters.
Yes.
And he's really funny in that.
His
And
comedic time in there was
his comedic timing
excellent,
is really
right.
good. And I wonder if they were like, okay, this is how he's good
Right.
with jokes, and these are the kind of jokes that
Jokes
he's
are
good
like
at
it was
delivering.
really like a moment where they decided to like capitalize on the actor's strength.
Yeah.
And I think
With his
that
strengths, correct.
even when they were doing the lead up to this, when they had the
Thor and
shorts,
Daryl.
Thor and Daryl,
Designs,
like
Yeah.
a lot of my understanding from Taika is seeing that he understands comedic timing very well.
Yeah.
He understands comedic timing very well. And before it was Kenneth Branagh. My problem with him is it Kenneth Branagh? That's his
He
name?
did.
Kenneth Branagh did
Yeah.
the first one.
Kenneth Branagh is Drake. Like yes,
He's very Shakespearean.
but and
Slight tangent. This is a different geekdom, but Murder on the Orient Express just came out.
Yeah.
And if you guys have watched that, that is also a total waste of a really good story.
Thank you.
And I think Kenneth Branagh is the problem. Is the
But there was
director of
no,
that
there
as
was
well.
no, just to splinter there and keep that. There was no reason to do something that was already done way better.
1974.
It
and
was done.
2011. Yeah.
It's been done on TV so well already, and I'm like, come on, leave it as it is, and you don't have to come back and revisit something that has been done to death.
But
And
that-
most
No,
that's
no,
okay.
no. We
That's
live.
where
We
are.
live. Everything
We're
can be
revisionist.
remade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
anything can be remade.
Revisionist.
That's not the problem. The problem is again like knowing what your
material.
actors are good at and what they're not. Good
Exactly
at.
right.
And Taika Waititi definitely looked at Chris Hemsworth and said, "Okay,
You're
this
funny.
guy can do this. We're gonna make
But
sure."
he's
Right.
fun- he's-
Yeah,
he's-
they leaned into it.
He's been funny.
Just to lean in on another thing that you were saying about Valkyrie, originally Christopher Yost had written it as she was going to be a love interest for Thor, and there was a lot
I'm
of
very
romantic
glad that
stuff,
they didn't do that.
and they decided, no, Tessa Thompson is better if we have her like kind of as a warrior on her
Correct,
own,
correct.
with some
PTSD.
PTSD, right.
And I think that also was something they did right. Instead of
was
having
great.
her be his love interest,
Yeah,
like just
she-
have her have a different arc.
She was great. Like literally from the moment she stepped out, like her first scene is like she steps out of the ship, like all extra and dramatic, sauntering off. Then she falls off the side of the ship.
Stumbling off. She came
Stumbled
drunk like a
off.
skunk.
And she's like, she was just like, I was like, okay, I did not expect this. And throughout the whole film, she is like a guy. She is just like a mean drunk. She is very, What?
She's angry.
I would say she's like a fully
Yeah,
rounded
like
character.
I was gonna say
She's like a fully rounded
True,
character.
she's true. But I mean, like, she is how like they would play off like the like traditionally. I guess I'm just like detailing it to the
In
traditional
Thor especially,
Hollywood way
a
that
lot
they
of
would.
the women
Happy
characters
damsels.
are just kind of
Yeah, they're just
kind
there
of
to be, like,
further
romantic
plot or
interests.
Natalie Portman's
Correct.
thing just to be the love interest. She's a fully realized character, and also Hela. I have a conversation with Mark often about one of the things that Marvel gets wrong often is the villains.
The
of
villains,
the movie.
right.
And I would argue that
bless your
Hela
heart.
is like
Alright.
a fully realized character.
Because
as
I kind of,
well.
I kind of have. I did not feel Hella too much here. I felt like
here's the
really?
thing. Here's the thing. I think they took what Tom Hiddleston has done well with Loki and said, okay, let's add a she to the he and give it to Kate Blanchett. Because honestly, for me, while Hela might be one of the better villains of Marvel, she still isn't a decent villain.
Oh,
for
I do not agree.
I
No,
think she's a great character, but like as the
she has the
antagonist,
same,
I
she
did
has the
not
same
think
thing,
that
the
she.
same level of success, or what Tom Hiddleston did right. He brought a lot of character, a lot of charisma to his
Right.
role, but the role itself is thin, paper thin.
Oh no, I actually think of all the Marvel villains, Loki and Hela are the two that are most fully realized. I
Most
cannot,
fully.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't
But-
put your
and
finger there.
Every other character, every other movie, there've been. This is the 17th Marvel film now.
Yep.
17 films we've watched in 10 years,
keep
guys.
telling
I will argue for
And-
Baron Zemo also.
And, oh yeah,
Because
I will argue with
Zemo.
I'll say
Maybe,
that.
but even then-
I can't argue with Zemo because he was forgettable towards
Yes.
the end.
Yeah.
It's like until you.
But he was forgettable.
Until you just mentioned Baron Zemo,
Yeah.
I didn't even remember.
But that's you. But that's you. That's
I
you.
think is maybe the reason why they are fully realized is because they're arguably also characters that are more anti-heroes in the way they're presented
Yes.
than actual
Villains.
villains.
Right.
And that may be why I think the two of them are great. Also, they are both look like they're having a lot of fun playing.
They
the
do,
roles.
yeah.
Showing the scenery,
Yeah, just
Yeah.
showing the scenery.
As an aside to him
But-
talking about Loki as an anti-hero, we didn't talk about Runaways yet.
Well, we will soon.
Yeah.
And that was
What-
interesting because in terms of talking about Runaways, I ended up having a splintering conversation with someone at work about Young Avengers having the possibility of a TV run. And it would be very interesting to see if they decided to do Young Loki.
Or do Young Avengers as a set of TV movies because now
That would possibly.
Marvel is
Could be,
batting
could be.
100, so they can put anything on TV.
Batting
People are-
But I'm like-
you say,
on
or just
cinema.
making money.
No, because
Batting 40.
Thor is a pretty good movie, I think.
But
After two terrible movies, and so in terms of things,
Well, let's
that
look. Let's look
right,
at. Let's look
There's
at
one
some.
thing that I wanted to
Well,
say.
hold on. Let's look at some of the strengths of what this movie did. So there's like a really, really good video essay from Wisecrack, like mentioning like why Thor is like the smartest Marvel movie. Now I don't really care whether your movie's like the smartest or not, but they did make some good points as to some things that I noticed in the film, and that like a lot of the characters, like their arc is focused on like their past and how they deal with the past. So you have like Hela, who I think like what I say like she strives as a character but not really as a villain, is like her arc here is kind of like she wants to bring Asgard back to like the good old days, and I kind of saw it as like that kind of like MAGA,
Make America great.
that MAGA affiliation where like she just wants to go back to a time where things were best but not necessarily for everyone else. Like her idea of Asgard is like this place where like she has this very like patriotic stance on Asgard. Like her idea of like strengthening Asgard is through conquering and expanding. And again, like that works for you, but it doesn't work for anybody else who's not of Asgard. So her character there, as her like her ties to the past, like to the point that she resurrects these macabre versions of her pet wolf and her armies, is like I think is a good touch to her character. And when you go again to characters like Banner, like why I like what they did with the Hulk here. He's pretty much just repressed. Banner has just like decided not to come out. And the Hulk is just taking reign because, like he said, like Banner's gone. Like I think, like Banner's like whole point is that he didn't want to deal with his past and like the destruction that he's caused. And there's that scene where Black Widow, he plays a message from Black Widow, and the Hulk just like goes crazy and comes back. That scene was really touching for me. And the other thing, like for Loki, it had like a really great character growth for Loki as well. So what do you think about Loki in this one?
Loki, I think, is okay. Sure, they're tweaking his character with each appearance. So first appeared Thor Avengers. He was the bad guy, the villain, more or less stereotypical. But then they played up more his relationship with Thor, the whole brother dynamic, and tried to make him a lot more sympathetic with each and every appearance. I've had a conversation with Khalil before. I think a lot of that stems from the